Hello. In TypeScript, there is a concept called generic classes. This is very widely used in many frameworks like Angular, React. So it's important that you understand this concept thoroughly. As name suggests, generic classes means you can have a class where the type of the content can be initialized when the instance is initialized. For example, here you have a box class where you do not have the type specified during the definition. When you create a new instance of this object, this class, then the type is determined. We will try to create our own example here for simplicity. So let me go to my playground here and let's start. I will define a class called collection and I will mark it as a generic. So by specifying a triangular brackets and TypeScript understand this is not a regular class. It's a generic class. And here I can say a private property called data source. And I will say this is a type, whatever type is being initialized of that array. And I'm initializing with empty value. Next, what I will do is I will add a public add function here, which will accept a value, which is also of type. So I don't know what type you can specify here when you create object. And since I'm adding it, I will just call a push value. Now there should be a way to get this value. I will define a public get property here, say values, and that should return type value here. And I would return this dot underscore data source. Okay, so my setup is ready. Let's create the first class object. Let's say this is numbers, or I say names first. Names is equal to new collection. Normally we define collection class like this, but here I want to specify this class will be of type string only. That means I can now call add function. I can pass name1 as a value. I can pass name2 as a value, name3, and I will just print the values. Names, oh yeah, names dot values. Now, if I just run this output, run this code, I will see the output as this. Name1, name2, name3. Interesting thing is, if you try to add a different type here, like I'm calling the names add with a number, it will throw an error. Like, hey, while creating object, you specified this is going to be a string, but you're passing a number value. That's why it's complaining. Now I can define, let's say, odd numbers is equal to new collection of number type. And I will add odd numbers here. So I will add 1, I will add 3, I will add 5, and I will just go and print the odd numbers values here. Let's clean the output and run it one more time. And you can see we have two outputs, one with string, one with number, with the same definition of the class. We can also have a object here. So what I can do is I can define a user interface here. I can have some kind of default values for one object, and I will create let users. I will create a new collection of users, like new collection of type user. Okay. Now what I will do is users dot add user, and I can say users dot add This time I will expand the operate this user and I will override the property id2, id3 and console log. And here I would say users.values. Clean it and run it again. First we have numbers, names, then we have numbers, and here we have the object. So this is how you can define a collection generic type. We can have one more example, which you will encounter a lot with Angular. So what I will do is, let me clean output here. I will define class called EventEmitter, and this is of type generic. So I don't know during the initialization what type you want to pass. I will not keep any property here. I will have a simple public method called emit, and I will have argument of type, and I will return whatever is there. And I will just return args here. And I will say console.log args here. Now let's create event emitter of like say number updated is equal to new event emitter of type number. So this will be a use case where you have a button, you click on a button and you want to increase the number by 1. And you can simulate this with number.emit, and here you will pass, let's say 100. And now if I run this application, I will get output number here printed. Maybe you can have a complete different type of this event, which is like username updated, and you will have username updated event like new user name. And I will run this one and I will get 100 and new username property. So this is very important to understand how generic works. As you work more on the Angular side, generic is very common. So yeah, thank you.